How do I know you didn't just gut the man yourself?
Jake the Film Guy, Microbudgeter.com. In this video, we're going to talk about what a DBA is and why you might want to consider it for your video production business. To put it real simply, a DBA is simply a way for you to do business as whoever you want to be. You want to be Batman Incorporated? No, don't do that. Batman is a trademark name. You want to be Jake the Film Guy? Then you can be Jake the Film Guy. You can have a sole proprietorship and do business as Jake the Film Guy. The sole proprietorship, we've talked about this before. What it boils down to is you are going to, in the eyes of the IRS, be a one man or one woman business, and you are entitled to do it out of the same checking account that you use for your everyday living and expenses. I don't recommend that ever. I always recommend getting another checking account, and I talk about that in this video below about how you should get at least a separate checking account when you launch your video production business. Having said that, the sole proprietorship is the easiest way to get started. A single member LLC, limited liability corporation, or company, can't really remember what the C stands for, has a similar vibe, and in the eyes of Uncle Sam, it's the same as a one-man or one-woman show, the sole proprietorship. The DBA is extremely easy to get set up. You can just go to your Secretary of State website and look for information about registering as a DBA. In the case of Missouri, it's a whopping $7. And you can even take that information and then get set up with your business checking account, an online service like Aslo, for example. But again, there's that video below talking about the differences between a credit union, a traditional bank, and a purely online bank. Still, I recommend you get a separate checking account, even if you are just going to be the uno person, the sole proprietorship, instead of the single member LLC ship. Pardon my bad English. The sole proprietor allows you to get started right away, like today. When you get done with this video, you can launch your video production business and just pick a name, Uncle Bob, the Film Guy, and that could be your DBA. You're ready to go. You can start printing that on all your merch, your business cards. I don't recommend you start with merch. That's kind of really jumping the gun here. It'd be like in Parks and Recreation when What's His Bucket and his friend Jean Ralphio just bought a bunch of merch and started handing it out, but they actually had no business model in place. Don't be like Jean Ralphio. One of the many benefits of getting the DBA associated with your business is that you can then operate, of course, under that fictitious name. That's really the biggest thing about the DBA. You don't have to be Jake Keenum. You can be Jake the Film Guy. And that allows you then to broadcast that business name just like you would for any other brick and mortar location, store, operation, business. Bada bing, bada bam, Bob's your uncle. It's as simple as that. You can use it with your P.O. box. You can use it with everything that you need that is necessary in order for you, ordinary, for you to conduct business. So let's recap. It's cheap, it's quick, and allows you to operate business with that name you've always loved using. Maybe since 5th grade. Whatever your nickname was, boom, that can be your business name. And the DBA gives you that vehicle. A classic real world example of this would be, for example, the church that I attend. They are traditionally known as First Baptist Raytown. And in the eyes of Uncle Sam, they are still known as First Baptist Raytown. However, for the last several years, ever since they've had a satellite campus, they have been using a DBA, Connection Point Church, so that they are now a brand in more than one location. So technically, they are still First Baptist Raytown. However, they are doing business as Connection Point. Savvy? As always, I wish you the best of success. I pray that you will keep creating with the King of Kings and using these tools that God has given us to bring light in a very dark world. Be praying for the kids in horrible exploitative situations around the world. Pick a country every day and pray for the children in that country. I dare you. And if you stuck around this long, here's your bonus. Differences between the DBA and the LLC and why you should lean towards the DBA when you are bootstrapping, when you're starting out. Now, what that boils down to is very simple. You should consider, and I mean this, don't take it lightly, the DBA simply because it is cheap, first and foremost. You can do this for mere dollars compared to the LLC, which can cost hundreds of dollars. It has to be registered through the state with articles of incorporation. So there's a lot of front end work that goes into getting the LLC started. Whereas the DBA, you just throw out your shingle on your front door. I'm in business. That could even be your business name. You're Jake Keenum doing business as I'm in business videos. Whatever you want to call it, you're good to go. So if you're just starting out, if you're pre-revenue, you're broke as a joke, and I talk about this more at the LinkedIn article below. It's my LinkedIn. Check it out if you want to see some more pros and cons to the LLC, because at the end of the day, Uncle Sam still sees you as a single member entity. So whether you are an LLC or a sole proprietorship, your video production business in the eyes of old Tio Sam is still going to be regarded as that single member entity, a pass-through entity, something that you report on the same 1040, whether you have a profit or a loss that year. It doesn't matter to Uncle Sam. So when you're broke as a joke, keep your wallet light and don't go into debt. This is another reason why you should consider the DBA.